Which countries are the most cost valuable in the world? Where can you go in 2022 that will allow you to travel for longer periods of time, experience a higher level of living, and save money? The following are 10 places throughout the world that provide the necessities: lodging, transportation, and food. Here are 10 best recommendations for backpack-based traveling. 1. Laos, $30 per day. Even though housing is slightly more expensive than most places in Southeast Asia, Laos is one of the 2 sites where you can keep your budget at $30 per day during your budget backpacking days around Southeast Asia. Many of the incredible activities available in Laos are inexpensive. You can pay $2.50 to see one of the world's most spectacular waterfalls, $7 for a full day of tubing on the Vang Vieng River, and $6 for a fantastic tiger balm massage. You can even rent a motorcycle for a low price and travel to smaller towns where everything is even cheaper. With an increasing number of new hostels being developed to appeal to the growing number of travelers, you may go for less and stay longer. If you have a little extra money to spend, you can obtain a beautiful room for around $35 that would easily cost $100 in the United States. 2. Vietnam, $30 per day. In Vietnam, you can enjoy the healthiest and cheapest street food. Consider a $1.50 soup with rice noodles, cilantro, a delicious broth, and a whole pork shank, or a $1 cup of strong, aromatic coffee. When it comes to transportation, renting a motorcycle will suffice for the day. However, you may not be comfortable riding a motorcycle, particularly in countries like Vietnam, where traffic can be incredibly chaotic. The good news is that GrabBike, like Uber but on bikes, is widely available in all major cities, and a 2-kilometer ride costs as little as 50 cents. Long-distance buses and trains are also cost-effective and dependable. Accommodation is also more nice and affordable than virtually everywhere else on the planet. 3. Cambodia, $25 per day. If you chose to tough it, I am confident that you can easily spend a month in Cambodia for under $1,000. Food and drink, like dorms, are fairly basic yet can be very inexpensive. There will be some one-time charges, such as the $62 3-day pass to Angkor Wat and diving trips, but there will also be days of riding a bicycle through a little village and eating cheap and wonderful pork skewers, where $1 or $2 may go a long way. 4. Northern Thailand, $30 per day. On a tight budget, the north of Thailand is ideal. As one travels south, lodging costs begin to double, triple, and even quadruple. Stay up north if you're short on time and money for your Thailand trip. Even in famous tourist destinations like Chiang Mai and Pai, basic rooms may be found for less than $5. Not only will you save money if you stick to street food, to each her own, but why eat spaghetti when you can have pad thai, am I right? But the experience will also be far more authentic and delightful. In terms of activities, you don't need a lot of money to have a good time because most of them are inexpensive, such as seeing the White Temple, hiking, or getting together with 3 other people from your hostel to rent a car and go on day trips. 5. Indonesia, $30 per day. The issue about Indonesia is that it may be extremely inexpensive or extremely costly, depending on one major factor: transportation. Intercity travel, as well as private boat transit from one island to another, can be time-consuming and expensive. Stick to 1 or 2 regions to save money. There's so much to see and do, and staying longer in one place will only allow you to travel further and have a more meaningful experience. My best advice is to use local transportation if you want to travel far and wide on a cheap. 6. The Philippines, $35 per day. Traveling around the Philippines archipelago can be expensive in terms of both money and time, and hostel options aren't as plentiful as in other Southeast Asian countries. While these 2 variables may appear to be a deal-breaker for budget-conscious tourists, there are ways to keep your travel costs in the Philippines modest. The Philippines can still be reasonable if you travel during shoulder seasons, book your flights and plan your trip ahead of time. This isn't the nation for winging it. And stay within 1 to 2 regions. Furthermore, the country offers some of the most stunning islands, dive spots, and hidden jewels that you would have to pay a fortune to visit in other areas of the world. In that way, every dollar spent in the Philippines is well spent. 7. Malaysia, $35 per day. Malaysia is typically regarded as one of the most costly countries in Southeast Asia due to its economic development. However, you can meet a lot of locals, talk with them, and find activities and excursions to do in the region. Lots of fun awaits touring the Cameron Highlands, Borneo's jungles, and the beautiful islands. These tours are all reasonably priced. An overnight bus from Kuala Lumpur to the Perhentian Islands costs as little as $8. There are numerous interesting local neighborhoods and markets to explore for free, and Malaysian cuisine is unlike any other. You can find food from almost any culture, and it's cheap and delicious, but not necessarily healthy. Malaysia is also one of the most affordable destinations in the world for obtaining a PADI scuba diving certification. 8. Sri Lanka, $33 per day. Sri Lanka, like many other countries, can be visited on a backpacker's budget or for a modest fortune. The cost of activities such as safaris and entrance to UNESCO World Heritage Sites was the biggest shock. With each ticket costing around $40 to $50, completely exploring Sri Lanka becomes more expensive. On days when you don't pay for pricey activities, Sri Lanka can be visited for less than $30 per day. Food, transportation, lodging, and the internet are all reasonably priced. It's worth noting that in some circumstances, using a taxi or Uber, in major cities, is less expensive than renting a bike. Hiring a driver for the day might be as inexpensive as $5 per person if you can locate someone in your hostel to divide the cost. The railway is the cheapest mode of transportation and, in a lot of travelers' opinion, the greatest way to travel through Sri Lanka. 9. Nepal. $28 per day, $15 per day if trekking. Nepal is a fairly inexpensive nation to visit, with most meals, lodging, and transportation costing only a few dollars. Fair warning: Nepalese street cuisine does not have the best sanitary and health reputation. However, you may find inexpensive and wonderful home-cooked meals in small cafes run by locals. When booking your accommodation online, be in note that large businesses have taken over local homestays and converted them into boutique hotels and resorts. It's possible that the local guest houses you've booked are part of a larger hotel chain. 10. Taiwan. $34 per day. 2 words. Street food. For less than $2, you can get a plate of fragrant rice with pork, chicken on top, a large deep-fried chicken chop, or a bowl of delicious vermicelli with oysters. Food in Taiwan is delicious and ridiculously cheap. If you are a foodie on a budget, you know where to go. In cities like Taipei and Tainan, you can register for their city bikes, which cost less than 50 cents per hour per ride, and are free for the first 30 minutes. This means you can possibly get around the city all day without spending any money on transportation at all. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.